I will be gentle with myself. I will be gentle with myself. And I will hold myself like a newborn baby child. And I will be gentle with myself. I will be gentle with myself. And I will hold myself like a newborn baby child. I will be tender with my heart, tender with my heart, and I will hold my heart like a newborn baby child. I will be tender with my heart. I will be tender with my heart. And I will hold myself like a newborn baby child. And I will only go as fast as the slowest part of me wants to go. And I will only go as fast as the slowest part of me wants to go. And I will be easy on myself. We can all be easy on ourselves. Take care of ourselves like a newborn baby child. Oh, we can be easy on ourselves. We can be easy on ourselves. And we can take care of ourselves like a newborn baby child. How about if I sing, I will be gentle with myself? Can you sing that after me? I know you can. I will be gentle with myself. All of us together. I will be gentle with myself, just like that. I will be gentle with myself like a newborn baby child. I love when you sing. One more time. I will be gentle with myself. Yes, you will. We will be gentle with ourselves. And I will hold myself like a newborn baby child.
Please join me in prayer. We come together yet again on this beautiful spring day, knowing that together we are experiencing a grand rising. And today we are reminded to be gentle with ourselves as perfect expressions of the divine having a human experience, knowing that all that we do is blessed by the one power that makes things out of itself, cannot work against itself, and wants only the highest, best good for each and every one here. I give thanks for our musician, for our AV team, for our hospitality team, for our practitioners, for our Reverend Lauren, through whom Spirit will speak today, delivering a message of good tidings and a reminder of our divinity. I give thanks for all of our practitioners. And I give thanks for everyone within the sound of my voice, knowing that each and every one are unique expressions of the divine, perfect, whole, and complete in both form and substance. I know that all that takes place here is divinely ordered and will be perfect in every way, and that everyone within the sound of my voice will hear the message that they need to hear in order to anchor the fact that they are uniquely divine and loved unconditionally by that power that we call God. I give thanks for each and every one who's in the sound of my voice and release these words into the divine law, knowing that the universal mind has already anchored these thoughts. It is already done at the intersection of right here and right now. I let this go, I let it be. Together we affirm, and so it is. This month, as part of the Grand Rising, we'll be talking about giant gentleness. And today, your gentleness is showing. Here are the words of inspiration. The first from Orison Seward Martin. When we are good to ourselves, it is easier to radiate warmth towards others. From Marcia Sinitar, if we can simply accept ourselves when we know we have chosen unwisely, we can grow fully into human beings. From our founder, the Honorable Dr. Ernest Holmes, know that nothing can hinder you except yourself. Well, we are in for a real treat today because Reverend Lauren Martin is here with us. And she's visited us before, and it's so nice to have you back to talk to us about our gentleness showing, whether we try to hide it or not. So right now, Reverend Lauren works with the education department at CSL, the Centers for Spiritual Living, and she's creating study guides for spiritual living circles. And she's the new chairperson of the Global Heart of Peace. Lauren's passion is helping people move through trauma by remembering who they are so they can live a truly authentic and joy-filled life. And it is my joy to welcome you here to New Dawn again.
Well, thank you very much for having me here today. I really appreciate that. I actually tweaked the title a little bit, and I'm going to be speaking to you today about compassionate change, because this is something I'm very passionate about, but I'm also really struggling with. So I thought, that makes it a really good thing to talk about with everybody, because why not bleed all over y'all, right? Okay, so one of the things that we want to keep in mind when we are going through change, and this is what I mean by compassionate change, is that we really need to be kind to ourselves when we're doing that. I don't know if anybody else here is like me, but I'm very, very good at beating myself up. The being kind to myself is really, really, really hard. So we're going to discuss that today with the hopes that we can all get to that place, that it's a little bit easier for us. So I know that a lot of us, when we find this teaching, we're kind of floating around in the world, and we might be at a point where we either want change, need change, or are going through a change. And then, in the infinite wisdom of our teaching, we're told, change your thinking, change your life. Okay, I don't know about you, but that hit me like a ton of bricks. That one hurt physically. Like, I was like, oh my goodness, you want me to change my thinking? What's wrong with me? Am I broken? Is there something damaged in me? Is there something that do I belong on the Isle of Misfit Toys? Or like that Barbie in the new Barbie movie, the weird Barbie, which, by the way, I identify with so much more than regular Barbie. But the good news is, just because you want to change something doesn't mean at all that there's anything wrong with you. Let's see if I can get there. There we go. Glennon O'Doyle reminds us, the only thing that was ever wrong with me was the belief that there was something wrong with me. Okay, great. So far I've given you Change Your Thinking, Change Your Life, and then this gem. And both of them are lovely little phrases that are easier said than done. So we're going to talk a little bit about this. We're going to talk a little bit about our thinking creating reality, because we all know that that's the case. So thought first, then reality. So we teach that, perspective shift. That's going to give you a different reality. That's going to create something new in your life that you haven't had before, right? But if you're like me, when you're in the middle of the angst and the icks and the I'm not sure what's going on in my lifetime, changing my thinking seems really, really hard. It's big. It's a big ask, because we've been thinking this way since before we realized that thoughts were our own. So we were taught as kids by our parents, and then by schools, and then by society and our friends, what's acceptable, what's good, how we should show up, what we should be in this world. And I don't know about you guys, I don't fit into boxes very well. I like to break them. I like to kind of destroy them. So that could lead to an internal struggle of, well, then there's something wrong with me. I'm broken. Right back to that. But here's the thing. Inside each one of us is divinity. We are all a divine being having a human experience. So no matter how deep and dark our unworthiness feelings come out, they're not true. We are all worthy. We all have that part in us that has never been hurt by anything that's our situation, our circumstances, any of those things, our choices. The other thing that I love about some of the things that we say is, what did you think to create this in your life? Okay, I didn't necessarily have full control over my thoughts in the moment, so I don't know. I was in survivor mode, so I kind of just went with the flow. I don't know. What did I do? Oh, but then it's my fault? So one of the things that I am very, very committed to is taking a look at things that happen in your life and taking that shame and blame out of it. Stripping all of that anxiety, all of that accusatory nature in this, and breaking it down. So I had a lot of that in my life. I was in a relationship for 11 years that I really should have left in like 1 year. Hindsight's 2020 and all that. But when I was going through practitioner training, I was sitting there going, okay, my thinking created that. My choices created that. But I have to be bigger than my choices. I have to be more than just my situation. So what made me do that? What made me choose that way? And one of the things that I think that can create the kindness and the gentleness and the compassion for yourself while you're going through this is realizing the difference between responsibility and blame. So I made a bad choice. I'm an idiot. I did this. Sorry, I don't know what I did wrong. I didn't want to create this life. No, that's not it. Responsibility is putting yourself back in that position and looking at what happened. What was going on during that time? Well, didn't have any money, didn't have any time because I was working 2 jobs, was trying to support both of us. I didn't have any self-esteem left because he had grounded out of me as much as he could, and I didn't have any energy. So I didn't have the resources. We all hear we're doing the best we can with what we have. And we tend to think that that is just time, money, maybe our thinking. But it's not. It's everything put together. So be kind to yourself when you look at what's happened in your life to bring you to today's point. Because you do the best you can with what you have, with all your resources, and it's not just thinking. But your thinking is where it has to start. I want to make sure I'm not losing track. Okay, so this is fun, okay? So change is painful, but nothing is painful as staying stuck somewhere that you don't belong. Okay? So that was a good story for that. But also, have we ever thought that the place that we don't belong is the prison that we create in our mind? So I don't know about you guys, but I'm one of those people who is very good at focusing on what I don't want. My fears, my anxieties, my insecurities, wondering what's going to happen next, and catastrophizing. That's really like the best thing that I do. I'm like an expert at catastrophizing. I can tell you the worst case scenario of anything in 5 seconds that you give it to me. That doesn't help anybody, though, and it doesn't get us to a point where we actually can change our thinking. So when we are on this path of being stuck in our mind, it can be a big, big, big request to change our thinking. That's like that elephant in the room that we all have, So I'm supposed to eat an elephant. And it's, 10 times bigger than me? Okay, I'm never that hungry. I don't know about y'all, but that just, that's never going to happen. And then what happens if I take a bite of the elephant and it tastes really bad? Well, then I really don't want to do any of it. That's a lot of what change is about. You're going through the process and it's this big, overwhelming thing. So how do you do it? You break it down into little pieces. And I would like to argue you break that down into little pieces. So somebody might think, well, you start with the trunk, you break that down into bite size. The trunk seems a little bit too big to me too. Can I just start with the snout? Can I just start with a little teeny piece? My therapist recently said to me that, because I'm really not good about committing to doing things for long terms. I get overwhelmed and then I just don't do anything. I sit on the couch and procrastination, that's it. Candy Crush is evil, because that could suck up all your time. Between that and Facebook, probably. That I can do. The cleaning my house, getting to my goals, can't do that. So she told me, break down half hour. Just do a half hour a day. So what I would encourage for you is if you have something that is big and daunting, pick a time frame that works for you. A half hour works for me because that's about as much as my little ADD brain can handle. But if you could do an hour, break it down to an hour. And then realistically, please be realistic about this, put on your list what you can do in that time frame. Do not say that you are going to walk to the moon in 30 minutes. It's not happening. So this is how you can stay kind of focused on big changes. It's by doing little chunks. Recently, I was talking to a group of people at work about, my lovely anxiety, because I'm so shy about that. And we were talking about me doing this talk today and how nervous I was about it. And this lady who just happened to fall off a cliff last year was telling us about how, she broke her leg multiple times, the first surgery, the rod they put in her leg broke, she got an infection, she had to get multiple surgeries, go through the process many times. She almost died. She was in physical therapy, and she was doing the catastrophizing, and her therapist was like, well, what if we focused on what's the best that can happen instead of the worst that can happen? And so I tend to be a little bit of a smart aleck. I'm sure you're surprised by that. So I'm like, yeah, but what if that best doesn't happen? Because then I have to deal with the disappointment and the insecurities again, and then I'm just gonna beat myself up and it's not gonna work. And she's like, well, why don't you break those down too? So instead of being like, the best thing that can happen is somebody sees this talk and it goes viral and I'm a millionaire, unrealistic. Think, okay, I'm getting ready. I find a dress that's cute that makes me feel comfortable. I arrive, I find a parking spot that's close. I meet people in the lobby and we have great conversations. So this way you're opening yourself up to positive things along the way. So then you're focusing on the positive. And I know it can be really, really hard to jump all the way from really, really negative to really, really positive in one motion. So I'm not asking you to do that. I have another way you can get kind of neutral that might be a little bit better when you're working on change. Look at, now this was also from the same meeting, another lady was talking about her son with autism and how they handle like going into crowds and things like that. And I'm like, oh, I gotta listen to that. I hate crowds. So I was listening very acutely and I loved this. Pick something that is unexpected and something that's expected. So instead of good or bad, because those are our own little mind traps that we play on ourselves and they're our own judgments, think about something that's unexpected that could happen and something that's expected that can happen so that you're prepared and you have ways of coping with the things that happen and as they show up. Because the process of change can be long. It can be tiring. It can be draining. You could lose yourself in the middle of it. I've done this many times. You know, my lovely prayer partner is here, and she can attest to how many times I have literally changed who I am in the last 10 years. And it's interesting because each step of the way, you learn more about yourself. You learn more about what's true and who you truly are. You become more aligned with that, but you also lose who you are. It's hard. At times you can feel like, okay, I'm just floating. I don't know who I am, don't know what I am, don't know how I am, don't know what I'm supposed to do. So I want to normalize for all of you, if somebody asks you how you are, I don't know is a valid answer when you're working on change. I don't know if somebody wants you to describe who you are, I don't know right now. I'll get back to you. It's okay not to know when we're in the process of changing something big in our lives. It's okay to take time and mourn who we were and make room for the new. Also, celebrate the new. Make room to celebrate and really dive into that newness. Now, the other day I was watching CSI Las Vegas. I had to think of which one I was watching. And I watch them all. So the character in there that was the victim was a chef who was a horrible bully. I'm sure you guys can't imagine that, never having a boss who would, try to belittle you and humiliate you to make you do things. So the CSI director, Maxine Roby, was talking about how she played basketball in college. And after her injury, she became a coach. But she had coaches who were like that. And then she became a coach like that. And she didn't realize she was a coach like that until her best player, who could have gone pro, quit. Because it wasn't worth the pain. Now, my little brain likes to take all the stuff from pop culture and actually find messages in it. So I was like, oh, I have one of those in my head. Anybody else? Yeah, it's a fun one. So I was thinking about it and I'm like, I've been going through a lot of changes in my life. And I don't feel like I've made any progress. I know have. It's just feeling. And I wonder, is it possible that maybe I'm reward driven and not punishment driven? Huh. So I'm assuming that a lot of you guys are probably like me, where you'd rather have a reward than a scolding. Yeah, it's not fun when you have that in your brain. It's an interesting journey with that because you can't escape it because it's always there, but you can alter it and you can be gentle with yourself while you're altering it. Katrina Meyer says, loving yourself isn't vanity, it's sanity. Okay, so I went to my therapist one day and I'm like, I really don't want to focus on self-love. I don't want to love myself because I don't want to be selfish. I don't want to be a narcissist. I don't want to be egotistical. She's like, you do realize that the fact that you are saying that you're afraid that you're going to be a narcissist and you're going to be egotistical means that you're not a narcissist or egotistical? I'm like, oh, okay. I was like, I did not realize that. Okay, well, that makes sense because those people are not that self-aware. And I could never get to that point, no matter how much I give myself love. So give me some permission to give myself love. But I'm also one of those people who's like, what the heck is love? Like, that's like this really big, obscure thing that only certain people get, right? Huh? Yeah? Mm-hmm. No. Sorry. It's available for everybody. And the best part is, I saw this on Facebook in one of my doom scrolls, is that if you are questioning about whether you love yourself and you're trying to love yourself and you're doing things to do that, you love yourself. So I was like, oh, I'm there. I don't have to arrive. I just have to build on it. And I can build on that easily. The other thing that I saw on Facebook was a blurb about baby steps. And I love this because we all say, oh, take baby steps, build on it slowly, take the first step. But here's the best part about baby steps is you don't have to be perfect. They are clumsy. They fall down a lot. They are wobbly and don't really know any kind of aim or direction. So that gave me an idea. I'm like, wait. So in psychology, we studied what happens with children and how they when they fall down, how they determine if they're hurt. Because they don't think about it, they don't have that idea until they look at their mom and get the face, and the mom goes, they freak. If the mom's like, get back up, they're like, okay, I'll get back up. So my idea is we can be like babies, and we can fall down, and we can look around and be like, oh, wait, the world didn't come to an end. Everything's still standing. I didn't like that choice. It didn't work for me. All right, cool. I can do another choice. So I'm going to give you a statistic that's either going to make you cringe or make you happy. People make an average of 35,000 choices a day. Anybody wonder why they're tired now? Like, that just made me tired saying that. But the good news about this is you're always at choice. And you could choose again. So the path that you took that got you to where you are today, I promise you that wasn't linear, that wasn't straight, that wasn't logical. Your path forward isn't going to be straight, isn't going to be linear, it's not going to be logical. And that's okay. You get to choose at each step. And I know you're thinking, well, not all choices are created equal. What shoes should I wear with this dress is a lot easier than, should I buy that house? I get that. But this is another thing of you still are at choice. Even the big ones, if it doesn't work, you can choose again. As long as you're still on this planet, you get to choose as many times as you want. So you're not stuck with anything that doesn't work for you. You know, I have been actively trying to choose the changing my thinking thing. And I'm going to be the first one to admit this. I've heard this my entire life. I am a slob. I am like the messiest person in the world. My house is filled with doom piles that don't end. And I was like, okay, we're going to try this little bit at a time thing and tackle these doom piles and tackle these messes and try to get things better and cleaner, because I have a lot of shame around this. I want people to come to my house. I want to have friends and family over, but I don't want them to see all the messes. So I did something really shocking. A couple weeks ago was my dad's birthday, so I made him a brownie chocolate cheesecake with chocolate-covered strawberries. At the same time, I cooked chili for me so I'd have food for lunch. So I'm sure you can imagine my kitchen kind of looked like World War III hit. And old me would be like, well, you can work around this for a while. It's okay. Don't worry, you know, just work around it, work around it. And it'd be a couple days down the road, I'd soak pots. I'd like, you know, oh, it still needs to soak. It's okay. Work around it, until it got to the point where it irritated me. Then I would spend hours doing my least favorite thing on the planet, which is cleaning. And then I would sit there and beat myself up about it. Because I should know better. I should do better. So I decided to actually follow my mom's advice that she's been giving me for a billion years and clean as I go. I can tell you this much. I hated it because I was exhausted when I was done. But something happened that was the first time ever in my life. And I'm not young, guys. I'm 47. I've never had this happen in my life. I was loading my dishwasher for the second time, getting ready to run it, and I heard a voice in my head say, "Good job, Lauren." Wait, who's in the house? Because that didn't come from me, but it did. Now, I want more of that, because I've been calm since then, and I've been keeping my kitchen clean, because I want more of that reward. And my friend's making a face here because she knows that the rest of my house is not clean. She knows that, you know, it's baby steps. I still have one whole room, my lunching room, that nobody is ever going to get to go into because it is a doom pile. The entire thing is a doom pile. I do not know where to start with it. I need somebody to come in with a backhoe. Anybody know anybody with a backhoe? That'd be great. But it's progress. My living room and my kitchen are at least somewhat clean. I'm working on getting to the floors. I'm going to blame my cats because, you know, their hair contributes to it, and trying to keep up with long-haired cats on a hardwood floor, not fun. Nobody warns you that when you get hardwood floor and long-haired cats. It's not fun. But that was so much different, and that felt so much better. Then now I'm like, wait, I can keep going. I can keep changing. I can keep growing because I'm not being so mean. All of my energy isn't focusing on what could happen. What did I do wrong? Where are my flaws? Why am I not enough? Because when it comes down to it, we're all innately enough. And I would love to invite every single one of us to embrace our flaws, because what if those imperfections are what make you perfect? What if that's what makes you the unique person that you are meant to be? Because I promise you, we're all here right now at this time in this space because we're supposed to be exactly how we are. The changing your thinking isn't about changing who you are. It's about changing how you perceive yourself and perceive your environment, and how you start allowing in the good. One of the things that I want you to keep in mind when you're doing any kind of big changes is we often think we're on these journeys alone. You know, we're the captain, we're the crew, we're the entertainment, we're the host, we're everybody on the cruise ship, because only us are in our own brains, only us are on our own journey, only us know what's right and good for us. Ask for help. I know that's a really hard one to say, and it's a really hard one to do. I also want to suggest, if you're asking for help, also give some guidance on the kind of help that you need and want. It's really amazing how many people in this world will be in your corner, but they don't know how, because we don't tell them. One of the things that I saw recently was, for people who want to support somebody, was, do you need somebody to sit with you? Do you need a distraction? Or do you need to be heard? Great. I need all three. Because sometimes I do. The other thing that I want to normalize about when you're asking for help is, and my prayer partner is amazing at this, I love her for this. A lot of times we say that our thinking creates our reality, right? So don't say it out loud unless you want it in your life, right? So many of us will say everything out loud that we don't want in our lives. But here's the problem. Where we put our energy is what we create. It's not necessarily just our words. Internally, if our energy is ping-ponging around with all the negativity and all the fears and all the doubts, that's all we're going to create anyway, because that's where all our energy is. Okay? Sometimes you need somebody who will just let you say the thing that isn't good and get it out, so that it doesn't take up space in your head. That's a great gift, because you can all of a sudden say, that one thing that's been bugging you for 4 months, and my friend is amazing about this, she just stays quiet. She doesn't say anything. And I'm like, I called her out on it one day, and I'm like, how did you know? She's like, yeah, I just had a feeling that, you just needed that to have space so that it wasn't in your head anymore. And I'm like, yeah, sometimes we need that. Sometimes we need to be able to just say the things and get them out. And it's okay. Just don't put any energy in them. What we create comes from where we put our energy. So when we have any kind of thoughts that aren't what we want, make them neutral. Make them as neutral as possible. Just get it out of there. Let the space come in. And then, could you trust yourself when you say something good about yourself? Like, when you hear compliments, like, take them in, practice that. Get somebody who will practice compliments with you, because that'll help you change your thinking and see who yourself for your whole self too. Brene Brown talks about a square squad. It is the idea that we can't do these things alone. Sometimes we can't have one person who can be our end-all, be-all person that knows everything and takes on everything and sees us as we are and unconditionally love us. But we can have a group. We can have a village. So think about who you can trust when you're going through these changes. You might need somebody who can be your distraction. You might need somebody who can be your friend. You might need somebody who will listen to you without giving advice, or yes, that was the right way. And you might just need somebody who can sit with you. The whole idea about this is allowing yourself grace and peace. I know these all sound really simple and are really hard to do, and I am aware of that. It takes just a willingness to be you. The you at your core knows everything that you need, knows how to be happy, knows how to be at peace, knows how to be abundant, knows how to create the life that you want to create. Trust it. It doesn't have anything but your best interest in it. So start tapping into that voice instead of your critic. The critic can take on a different role. You don't want to get rid of your critic because it does warn you. Things might be happening. Things, gotta be aware of that. Just give it a new role. Make it a little gentler. Make it a little sweeter. Coach your coach on how to coach. Because, if you would rather have a reward than a scolding, you get to be at choice again for that. But I want everybody here to know the benefit about changing your thinking is you get to be you, and you get to stop caring what everybody else thinks, because honestly, those are none of your business anyway. Those opinions don't matter. All that matters is what is important to you, what is best for you, and living an authentic and beautiful life like you are meant to be. All right, let's just go ahead and take a nice time for prayer. As we just breathe into this moment, we know that God is all there is. It's all present in, of, as each and every one of us. There's no place that God is not. And that is a beautiful thing. That means that as divine beings having a human experience, we get to bring into our life everything we want. We get to have abundance. We get to have peace. We get to have joy. Whatever we can imagine, we can create just by believing in ourselves and believing in that divinity within us, that it exists, we exist, we are powerful and strong. We are bigger than change. We are bigger than flaws. We are bigger than our imperfections. We are divine. And I'm so grateful for the amazing gift that each and every one of us is, and all the wonderful things that we get to do in this world through our purpose. I know these words are perfect, and I release them into the law, knowing they are true, they are done, they are golden, and so it is.
Everybody's been through hard times, some really hard times. And you wonder if it's always gonna be that way. Well, I believe we all grow, we all change, 'cause every day things rearrange. And if you want to, you can make a change. It doesn't take a whole wide world to make a life better. It doesn't take a whole wide world if you want to make a change. Yeah, start with the beginning and don't give up. Even if you gotta start over again, step by step, minute by minute, put your heart, your soul, your love right in, then you're gonna see a change. It doesn't take a whole wide world to make a life just a little bit sweeter. Doesn't take a whole wide world if you want to make a change. Gotta start with an attitude of gratitude and see yourself clearer in the mirror, step by step, minute by minute, put your heart and your soul and your love in it, and then you know what's going to happen, right? You're going to see it change. Choose love. It's what we all respond to, and remember you. You are enough just as you are. Choose hope. It's what we all want to hang on to. Step by step, minute by minute, put your heart and your soul, your love right in it, and then you're gonna make a change. One more time. It doesn't take a whole wide world to make life a little kinder. It doesn't take a whole wide world to yourself. Be kind to yourself. Start with an attitude of kindness and then see the whole world changing. Step by step, minute by minute, put your heart, your soul, and God right in it, and then you are gonna wanna see a change.